got it on.
Welcome back, everyone. We're back in the heat. We had a nice little break. It was really good to just go away and relax. We didn't really pick up the camera except to film the Q&A. And yeah, we had a really nice time. So today and this next few days, our main focus is going to be getting the power shed, the whole new solar system installed and running and working properly, get everything out of the house and into the power shed. And the first step to doing that is Greg is going to dig a trench. So we're going to have a power cord that goes from the power shed into the house. So he's going to start working on that trench. He's got the backhoe on and get that buried again. So yeah, should be interesting. I'm not sure where he's planning on putting this power line yet. So we're going to find out. Hi! Hi, Steve. Come on, buddy. Come on, Angel. Come on. Woo! Nice one. All right, so Greg has finished digging the trench and he's gonna go under the house and feed the electrical line up through the framing, and it's gonna connect into our breaker panel from there. So I'm just waiting for him to get it all, crawl under the house and feed it up to me.
That's where the line comes up.
Okay.
Make sure that that line is pushed all the way up to the edge of the dirt. Yeah, that's it. Okay, just stay there for a second. Here's my shovel. about right here.
Roots are catching my goodbye. All right, we've got the power line from the house to the power shed. It's not in the power shed yet, but we'll get to that tomorrow. Getting late in the day, so we're gonna call it and have dinner and relax for a little bit. We'll pick you back up tomorrow.
Okay, so we've got that power line buried. I need to do some beautification on it and make it a little bit nicer, but it's to the shed and to the house. When luckily I bought a bit extra because I figured it would be 100 feet and it's exactly 100 feet. So all's well that ends well, but I bought what I was thinking was like 15 feet extra. I can't remember exactly, but I figured I'd be cutting a little bit off. I didn't cut any off. So I'm going to get the components ready for installation. So I'm going to put the batteries in the rack so that they're ready to go. And then I'm going to get a board up on the wall for where we're going to do the installation of the all-in-one unit. So, to the shed. Grab that side, I'll grab this side. That's easy. The tall one. Get your corner in? My corner's in. Okay. Fuck, that's heavy. Oh. Okay, just hold that up for a minute.
Grand Bruce. You coming to lay an egg? Come on. Come on, you wild chicken. Grand Bruce. Bye. Oh, that was fast.
What did I tell you about this thing? It's fast. It's fast, fast. Now can I go, oops. Can I go all the way through? Hole.
Ooh, just on the corner.
Yep.
Hold up, and you gotta grab the drill.
You know what? Maybe you can drill it. As long as we can get one screw in, we can level it from there.
That's high enough?
Yeah. Up, your way, down, down.
Don't, just let me do it.
Up. Right there, don't move. Okay. Solid. Today is an exciting day. We are going to be installing this, and we will be running power, hopefully, in our home from this brand new unit. I'm tickled pink because I've been wanting to do this for a long time. Sungold sent us this a while ago, and we've had lots of different projects in the way, and this has been in the back of my mind the whole time, getting this new system up, getting more battery capacity, and upgrading our power system. So I'm really excited to get this all together. I have to make some cables. Now, if you're taking on this DIY project, the easiest way to do it would be to get a solar company or an electrical company to make you some cables so that you don't have to crimp all the cables. I mean, you need a special crimper for it and a little bit of know-how of how to do it as well. So I'm gonna make my own because we live in the middle of nowhere. We don't really have access to that kind of stuff. But if you're somewhere closer to a solar store, you know, you can give them dimensions of the cables, which is all in the manual for the unit that we're installing. Give it to a company to make you cables, and they can probably have it done in a matter of hours. So I'm gonna start making cables because they are very large lines that go out of this unit into the batteries and to our bus bars, actually. So I'm gonna get those cut up right now. So this is the cable that we got for the batteries. Now, typically you would get a black cable and a red cable, one for positive and one for negative. But because we are so remote, this is the only bit of cable I could find. I'm going to have to label my positive cable well so that I know for sure what is positive and what is negative. So be sure of your measurements because this stuff is not cheap. This is 4/0 cable, and it's thick and expensive and has lots of copper in it. So do your measurements before you order your cable 3 times over to make sure that you've got enough cable, or else you'll be spending a lot more money. Okay, buddy. And if you are making your own cables, Amazon's a good place to look for a hydraulic lug crimper. And this one actually came with a heavy duty cable cutter. Now, I don't know if this will cut 4/0, but we'll see. Oh yeah, perfect. Done. So this is called a T-class fuse. This is an important part of connecting to your batteries. This is going to save your butt if there's a short. There's a lot of power running through that. So yeah, this is not an option. We have been running with one in without one in our house for a while, which has made me very nervous, but I finally got one. I'm going to install it properly, and then I'm not going to have to worry about shorts. So yeah, not an option. T-class fuse. You can also get different types of fuse. This one's a 300 amp fuse. You can get different types of fuses for your batteries, but this is recommended by lots of people who deal with solar. These T-class fuses are what you need. Okay, so you see what I did here? There's no confusion. That is my positive lead. I took some red tape, wrapped it around. That'll stay on there forever. That looks good. Tight connection at the T fuse, very tight connection at my crimp, very important. Loose connections create heat. You don't want heat in an electrical system. So I can get this now installed into the unit. So because I'm switching systems over from what I have inside out to here, I'm reusing some things like bus bars and other cables, so it's a little bit tricky for me because I'm redoing my system. But if you have everything all together, it's really quite simple to install all this. The thing you need to remember though is all connections must be tight. Tight, tight, tight. Connections have to be tight. So keep that in mind. You need to do a little bit of research. This is totally a DIY project if you're careful with it, because this is serious playing with power. You need to know. So because I don't have my bus bars readily available because they're being used inside and Katie's editing videos, we can't turn the power off yet, I'm just making two little boxes so that I can measure the length of cord that goes to the batteries from these two little boxes. So I've got the dimensions of them, and should pretty much get me enough to measure where my wires are going to go. Okay, so I have the battery all hooked up. So we've got positive to positive to positive to positive on this side, negative to negative to negative to negative on this side, and what I believe and I've been told is it's good to run your positive from one side of the battery bank and your negative from the other so that there's equal power sharing. So that turned out real easy, real good. I used exactly the right amount of cord for my bus bars here. I have 0 extra, so I got lucky once again. This project's going good. I gotta go figure out how to cut a tech cable because for my AC out that goes to my panel, which is just a distribution panel that goes to my main panel inside the house. I need to use 6-gauge wire, and I have 6-gauge wire. It's just tech cable, and it's a heavily armored cable, so it's a little bit overkill for this type of application, but I own it and I'm gonna use it. So that's good. Okay. Put this on first and then pop. Okay, so I just had a wrestling match with this tech cable here. So I've got 6-gauge cable coming out of the AC out here. That goes into my 2 legs that are gonna feed the house. So I've got breakers here, and then from here goes in to the house, which is what I buried the other day. I don't recommend using tech cable in this situation. This is industrial grade underground burial cable. It does not need, you do not need to be using that thick of cable. You can use a 6-gauge Romex that'll work a lot easier, and that's what it's meant for, is indoor applications. But I had some of this, so I mean, you can't get more overkill than what I've just installed, I'm pretty sure. And in fact, because the insulation is so thick on these wires here, it was really hard to install. So, but luckily for me, and now this isn't the first one of these that I've installed, but sometimes these terminals here are they're weak. It's easy to strip. They don't tighten very well. These ones are skookum. Hopefully that's an example of the quality that this unit is. Guess we won't know until we turn it on. And now I know most of you know that I have other batteries inside. I'm going to install those later. I'm just solely using Sungold's equipment that they sent us, which makes it a lot easier, because to pull those batteries out and get them all over here, it's a lot of weight, a lot of work, and a lot of wiring. And to have a rack mount like this that's all ready to go and charge it takes some pressure off of me. So I'm gonna go connect my power out from the shed, this right here. I'm gonna go connect that to my panel and disconnect all my other wires that go from our other Sungold inverter inside of our house. And I'm going to transition to the power shed.
Okay. Pretty chaotic in here. Taking things apart.
I gotta get the power back on.
Everything is out here now. Hi, Boo. So we're reusing whatever we can out of here. Greg's been pulling cables and disconnecting things. Our main goal is to get the generator power able to go into the Sungold batteries so that we can start getting those charged enough that we can hook the house up to it, and then we will start moving everything else over. We've got more batteries and charge inverter there, stuff like that we want to get in there as well. So we just got to get power hooked up to the house so that we can get the freezer back on and the fridge back on and that sort of thing. Why don't you just put it over?
I don't like that, because I push, well, that'll be alright actually. Whew. Gotta get that freezer back on.
Freezer will be fine for a while.
These are these going on There we go. Okay, so I've got the batteries turned on. I don't have the communication cables figured out yet because the manual's a little bit vague. I gotta look online exactly how to hook those up. But the inverter's on. The batteries are on. Okay, I'm gonna turn on the power, Katie, and you're gonna tell me if the house explodes.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's do it from out here.
We'll go into the room and tell me if anything goes wrong. I had to rewire a whole panel. I'm pretty confident. I'm not too worried about this, but you always want to be careful because even though I checked over and over and over again, something wrong could happen. So Katie's gonna roll in to the house and I'm gonna turn on the main power. It's exciting. Are you ready, Katie? Power in here. This is good. So let's see what's going on here. Pulling 52.5 volts, 7 amps. Ta-da! Now, my install maybe was a little bit more difficult than what yours might be because mine is a power shed running to the house and having to rewire the house and do things in a weird sequence. But basically, the simplicity of it is you've got your two batteries, your two battery leads, big thick cables that go into a T-class fuse, and then you don't necessarily need these bus bars, but you can go straight to the battery if this is all the batteries that you have. So that is the power to the batteries. The power to your panel is this. So this goes to my panel. This is just a switch. And then, I don't have them hooked up yet, but the PV power. So there's two MPPT charge controllers on here. So it's simple as just plug in 2 wires from your panels directly into there. And then you are off the grid. That's how it works, and that's how easy it should be. Yeah, we're gonna get the solar panels hooked up probably tomorrow because I need to clean up my huge mess, but we have power for now.
So even though it's a little bit smoky, we're still getting a little bit of sun coming in. So we got to get our solar panels hooked up. We've got the cable coming up the hill, and it goes that way towards the house, but what we need now is for it to just come straight up the hill. So we're really hoping that we have enough cable to reach the power shed. We're gonna start pulling it up and see if it's gonna work.
Ready?
For what? Back up you go.
Back up I go. I got the right shoes for the job. These are mountain flip-flops, Katie.
Show for the wasp.
Wasps are scared of me. Think that hole's tight enough?
It's wrecking it.
Oh, I gotta keep washing my hands. So I'm installing a breaker for the solar panels. Now this thing has 2 MPPT inputs, but I'm only bringing 1 string of panels that we already have hooked up down lower on our property.
But we're gonna be upgrading.
But it's not here yet. So we're just doing this for now.
For now?
We're just using our original panels for now. How come that's... What's going on here? Oh, it's closed all the way. For this cover.
And you gotta plug the panels back in.
Yep.
And then we'll be charging.
Yeah, hopefully. It's pretty smoky outside. Here we go. Tell me. Oh, it says hey. You can hear it. PB1 is pulling 0 volts. PB2 is pulling 97 volts.
$35 degrees.
Hot.
Sounds about right.
How do I tell how much is coming in?
We are charging just in time. I noticed 2 of the batteries had died and had no lights on, while the other 2 they've all had an alarm on for quite a while because we didn't get them charged yesterday. So we think what happened is because our other unit is a low voltage unit, this is a higher voltage unit, so it wasn't picking up the solar panels, which Greg had set up for low voltage. I don't know, he'll have to explain that, but now that we've got it in high voltage configuration, it's working. Now that we have everything switched over to the power shed, this room is so much more organized and clean. It's so much quieter in the house because we're not listening to the inverter fans power on when it needs to cool down or whatever, which I will say was kind of a nice thing because we always knew that everything was working properly, but it is nice to have quiet too. So you'll have to decide which one you prefer more, but we're one step closer to being able to finish this room, which is really nice. We're gonna get the addition started next, as well as upgrade our solar panels. And once we have the addition built, we can get all of this stuff out of here, the freezer, because it's gonna live in the addition boot room. And we can actually turn this into an office space or a workout room or something like that. We'll have to see, but we'll be able to get it finished. So we're gonna head out to the power shed, show you the final product, and go over the specs. So this 10,000 watt unit has 2 legs at 120 volts each, which makes 240 volts when put together, of 5,000 watts of each leg. So plenty for any household, really. Yeah, we were doing fine with the 6,500 watt unit that we had before, but we really wanted to bring in the 240 volt option, so that's why we were super excited to go for this unit.
And to be honest, if we were to turn everything on in our house at the same time, there's no way we would even come close to 5,000 watts. And we have a fairly normal house. Our fridge is normal, our freezer is normal, all the appliances that we use are the same ones that you would buy if you had a grid-tied house. A grid-powered house.
Although we did try to find the most efficient ones.
We did try to find the most efficient ones, as does anyone, I'm sure, when you're buying new appliances. But this covers our needs. This covers our needs completely. I can now wire in a 240 volt plug and weld from my off-grid system rather than having to run a generator. So, I mean, it opens up the possibilities. So we've got 4 lithium iron phosphate batteries, which is a safe technology to have in your home. They're just over 20,000 watt hours. They are really easy to install. I really like the racking system. It's very simplistic. There's no doors, there's no tricky little things to hook up. It was very straightforward, and I really appreciate that with this.
And it's sturdy.
Very
and has
sturdy.
Good wheels that can hold the weight and move it around. Is really good.
The batteries also have a digital readout, and you can find out your temperature of your cells, the state of charge. There's a whole bunch of different options that you can look into in the batteries. So it's nice that you can actually take an insight into the battery to see what's going on in each of the different batteries. This 10,000 watt unit has a AC input. So what that means is if you're grid tied and you have grid power and you want to charge your batteries for maybe like a situation where the power goes down and you have backup batteries, you can plug this into your grid and charge at 5,000 watts, which is crazy. That's a lot of power to charge your batteries with.
Is that the same as a generator?
We use a generator because we don't have grid power to charge our batteries through this. Now we don't have that hooked up yet, that'll come in time. We do use the charge inverter, which we've had forever, and it's an awesome tool, but we should be able to run both this and charge our batteries at the same time at a very efficient rate. So that is awesome.
Yeah, we highly recommend getting one of the charge inverters, especially with the 6,500 watt unit that we had. We cut our fuel efficiency and our charging time with the generator in half by using that, because we were able to just dump the power into the batteries and not run the house off of the generator.
The other thing is this does not discriminate against any power source. Some of the all-in-one units don't like dirty generator power, so we're not sure how this one's... We've wrecked one before. I'm not sure how this one's going to handle it, but we've got a pretty good generator, and I'm pretty certain that we'll have no troubles with it. Mm-hmm. And the last thing,
the solar input.
The other huge beneficial trait that this unit has is you can put 11,000 watts of solar power into this. So it has two MPPT charge controllers, and each charge controller can take 5,500 watts. So that's one of the reasons why this unit was the one that we wanted to go with as soon as we found out it was around, because we have our solar panels so far away and the wire is quite expensive to run from. It's about 500 feet away where our solar panels are, where they're not shaded by the trees. So I can bring one string at 5,500 watts in from down below, which is game changing. We have never had that opportunity. Our last standalone charge controller, we could barely bring up 2,100 watts. So this is more than double that. It's a high voltage unit, so it can take up to 500 volts from the panels, which means you can run a lighter gauge wire from your panels and not have any line loss. So big steps in solar these days in comparison to what we've had to deal with in the past. It's hard to think of anything that this unit isn't going to supply for us. So we're very, very, very grateful to Sungold for giving us this inverter and these batteries. And if you guys are curious about going off grid, please go check the stuff that they have. Check out their packages. They are very, very well priced. You know, in comparison to old days, what it used to cost to go off the grid, this is peanuts in comparison. We would have saved tens of thousands of dollars had the technology been out that is here today when we first went off grid.
And this month, which is August, marks Sungold's 10-year anniversary, so they have some awesome discounts going on. You're definitely going to want to take advantage of savings if you're trying to get off grid. Now's the time to do it. We're going to put links down in the description. And that's going to conclude our solar upgrade video for now. Like we mentioned earlier, we've got some panels being shipped to us now because we've only got 2,100 watts, and that's not going to cover all of these batteries that we have at all. So we got to get that upgraded. We're going to get the exterior finished coming up in the next video as well.
All the little trims and finish up the roof and all the little stuff. We just really, really, really wanted to get this stuff installed. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we're going to finish this project next video. So
yeah.
Thanks again, Sungold, for sponsoring today's video, and see you next time.
See ya.